Okay. Most importantly, I think the way more relevant thing to look at, we've got a new archetype called Art Magia. I don't know exactly how to say it. Art Magia is how I would say it, I think. And this is, I think, confirmed to be the new main lore archetype. This is going to replace Diabellstar as the main lore of the next season, whatever, the next lore cycle. I don't know. It's going to be like a year or however long it is these days. Which means I have a lot of expectations for this. I probably pretty strong stuff here, but also kind of scary because in the past, of course, especially with the Diabellstar lore, they have overpowered it by quite a bit. So like, I'm hoping this is cool, but not as powerful as the Diabellstar stuff. But it's also going to be hard to say from just the first wave, probably, because it's going to get more support in the future. We have Medius the Innocent, level 4 Dark Fairy effect monster. Is this the main protagonist now? Is this who we're working with? Is this the new Diabellstar type character? 1800 attack, 1800 defense, Dark Fairy. You can only use the first and second effect of this card's name each once per turn. If this card is normal or special summoned, you can take an imprisoned deity monster from your deck and either add it to your hand or special summon it. If this card is in your graveyard, you can shuffle a monster from your hand or face-up field into the deck, and if you do, special summon this card, but banish it when it leaves the field. That feels like a very powerful start to an archetype. On summon, normal or special summon, special a monster or add a monster from deck, and has a graveyard effect to summon itself back while recycling something from hand or field. You can use both effects in the same turn. That's a pretty strong start. Now we're going to have to see what exactly an imprisoned deity is. We have Art Magia Finemelt. Okay, so is imprisoned deity just another translation for Art Magia? Is that the same, or is that like different set of cards? No, it's another archetype. Okay. Okay, so this is a different archetype. You can only use, I mean, it's, okay, starting to already split up into different archetypes on the first release. Art Magia Finemelt, level 7 Light Warrior. You can only use the first and third effect once per turn. If you control an Art Magia card, you can special summon this card from your hand, then you can draw one card. Okay, straight up, just special summon draw. All right. Your opponent cannot target level 6 or lower Art Magia monsters you control with card effects. During the main phase, if you control 3 or more monster types, quick effect, you can negate the effects of all face-up monsters your opponent currently controls. Also, their current attack becomes halved until the end of this turn. So you just special this, draw a card, and then you leave it on the board, and it's like a quick effect negate as long as you have a big board. All right. Now this does read pretty strong, but it's a level 7. Of course, we have to see how easy it is to get an Art Magia card onto the field, and also this does kind of scream like an archetype that will overextend a decent amount on the first turn. Like if you have to leave so many different monster types on the board, maybe it's going to be really weak to some like Dark Ruler, Droplet, Raigeki, Darkhold, depending on what the other cards do. But let's keep reading. We have level 5 Light Dragon, Art Magia Graphlare. You can only use the first and third once per turn. If you control an Art Magia card, was this also card? Yeah, card. You can special summon this card from your hand. Then you can set an Art Magia spell from your deck. Oh, both of these are very good. Just very low like investment, just special and get a plus. The first time this card would be destroyed by battle each turn, it's not destroyed. You can target a spell trap your opponent controls, destroy it. This is a quick effect if you control 3 or more monster types. Okay, so I would say very strong card too, but also a level 5, so not a starter. Art Magia Litera, level 3 light spellcaster. You can only use the first and third effect. once per turn. If you control an Art Magia card, you can special summon this card from your hand. Then you can add an Art Magia card from your graveyard to your hand. Take no battle damage from battles involving this card. During your opponent's main phase, quick effect, you can special summon an Art Magia monster from your hand or grave, except Litera, then return this card on the field to the hand. Okay. This is the first thing that you could normal summon. So let's say you open a bunch of Art Magias. This is the one that you can put onto the field so you can special summon the others, which I think is important. Okay. Oh. That's the first Imprisoned Deity Beast of Art Magia. It's a cool looking owl. I like that. Level 1 Earth Illusion Monster. You can only use the second and third effect each once per turn. You cannot special summon from the extra deck except fusion monsters. During the main phase, quick effect, you can fusion summon an Art Magia fusion monster or Nerva, the Imprisoned Deity of Creation from your extra deck using monsters from your hand or field, including this card you control. If this card is sent from the hand or field to the graveyard, you can add an Art Magia spell trap from your deck to your hand with a different name from the cards in your grave. Okay, so this does connect the two archetypes together. This does mean, like, you know, this can summon an Art Magia out. That's pretty powerful. Also, depending on how good the fusions are, this is a pretty good, you know, a pretty good card in general, right? You fuse with it, it replaces itself. Can be summoned off of the main guy, so pretty nice. Art Magia Diaktoros, level 8 Light Fairy, needs Medius the Innocent plus an Art Magia monster. Okay, so this gives me branded vibes overall in terms of the functionality of this, right? Like you have like the main, this is like your Albaz, and then you have a bunch of stuff surrounding it that like sometimes locks you into fusions in this case, and okay. And he's like the fusion material, which I think as a start is a more promising start than to the Diabellstar lore, you know? Because even though Branded was a very powerful and in certain periods quite the annoying deck because it had very powerful individual cards that would lock you out of the game and stuff like that, Branded overall in terms of balancing was a lot better than the Diabellstar lore ever was, right? Like the Branded stuff was way more in line than with what I would want this sort of stuff to be like in terms of power level. Anyways, Medius the Innocent plus an Art Magia will give you can only use the first, second, and third effect once per turn. Target a monster on the field, change its battle position. This does not allow you to change stuff to face down battle position, right? Like defense position. If I remember correctly, you can just turn something from defense to attack or attack to defense. You can flip up face down monsters, I think, but you cannot flip face up monsters face down. When your opponent activates a card or effect on the field and you control 3 or more monster types, you can negate the activation, and if you do, destroy that card. Okay, not the most interesting way to interact with things, but you do have to require 3 different monster types to have an Omni negate. Also, it only negates cards on the field, which is huge when it comes to something like Nibiru. So it is not as powerful. Like, I think cards that can negate Nibiru are quite more, like a lot more powerful than cards that cannot negate Nibiru. Yeah. If this fusion summon card is destroyed, you can special summon one Medius the Innocent from hand, deck, or banishment. Interesting that you can't summon it from graveyard. Okay. Overall, even though, you know, it being somewhat of an Omni negate is not the most fun way to do it, I feel like power level wise, maybe it's okay. I don't know. Nerva, the Imprisoned Deity of Creation. Level 10 Earth Illusion. This looks powerful. Looks like a powerful card. Materials: 3 Art Magia monsters must be either fusion summoned or special summoned from the extra deck in defense position by attributing 3 monsters with different types. Wait, that's potentially very generic. You can only special summon Nerva once per turn. Cannot be destroyed by card effects while there's a card in the field zone. Once per turn, when you activate an Art Magia monster's effect, quick effect, you can make that effect become destroy all cards your opponent controls. Okay, so it's it is technically something you can make like generically, but it doesn't really make sense in any deck that isn't an Art Magia deck, right? This is fun. I feel like this is fun because the way this interacts with your opponent, like, is pretty cool. This is like a cool piece of interaction because it does offer your opponent like outplay potential, because the way this is worded is exactly like Thunder Dragon, Titan, or Paleozoics, or Lady Labyrinth, right? So like you can chain block this, right? When they have an Art Magia monster with a quick effect, and so you try to make that work, and then they chain block it, so it has outplay potential. But the payoff for this is potentially really good, right? Destroy all cards your opponent controls is potentially very powerful. But it has counterplay, and it's not just like this is way more interesting to think about than like this, which is just like, yeah, you activate a card I don't like, I'm gonna negate that. So this is way cooler, I feel like, in terms of a boss monster and design direction than this. I can actually get behind this card. Like this is fine. This is cool, I think. While still being good, right? This is nothing to scoff at. Like it's not a bad card because it has outplay potential, because it's not always that you're gonna have a quick effect to chain block this. Also, if you chain block this once, they might be able to do it again later on, right? If they have multiple Art Magia monsters out, they might activate one of them, you chain block that, and then later on, they might find their way to another one. Also, the other Art Magia effects, right? Let's say you activate which one? Let's say you activate this one to destroy a spell trap card, right? And your opponent chain blocks it because they don't want their entire board to die. You're still getting this effect, right? You're still getting the destruction on a spell trap card. It's not like you're losing out on anything. It's just like you're not getting this effect right now. You're still getting the other one. That's a cool way to make a card work, I think, because you're changing your own effect to something else. That's interesting. All right, that's it with the monsters, it seems. And now we have Art Magia, the Academy City of Divine Arts field spell card. During your main phase, you can normal summon a Medius in addition to your normal summoner set. You can only gain this effect once per turn. You can discard a spell trap and declare the name of one Art Magia monster you do not control. Add one of the declared monsters from your deck to your hand. Also, you cannot special summon from outside the extra deck for the rest of this turn, except Art Magia monsters and Medius the Innocent. You can only declare each card name once per turn to activate this effect of this card's name. Okay, so this is a powerful consistency card. This is also very important because it is an Art Magia card, which enables you to special summon the level 7 and the level 5, right? That's a big deal, I think. It does have a lock to it. Unfortunately, I feel like this lock is very, like, this is a weird way to do it. This is a weird lock because all this means is in your main deck, you want to only play the Art Magia stuff, right? From your extra deck, you can still spam whatever you want, right? It's kind of like there's one other archetype that has the same thing. Is it Valence? There's like one archetype that does the same thing where like from the extra deck you can do whatever you want, but from the like in your main deck you can it's Valence, right? So that's kind of messed up, right? I would have preferred if they just went at it the branded route and just said like fusions, right? Because this one locks you into fusion, but only while it's on the field. Right, this is a Promethean Princess lock, which is not really a lock, right? Because it's also, this is the card that performs a fusion summon. So, Theo Realize, normal spell card. You can only use the first and second effect of this card's name each once per turn. Send a Medius the Innocent from your deck to the grave. Look at the top card of your opponent's deck and place it on either the top or bottom of the deck. Okay, that's an interesting way to access your monster. Banish this card from your grave, then target a face-up monster you control and declare a monster type and attribute. It becomes the declared type and attribute until the end of your opponent's turn. Ooh, we're making anything like Light Fiend. Let's go. Let's go, dude. Light Fiend. Art Magia Masterwork Succession. Quick play spell card. You can only use the first and second effect once per turn each. During the main phase, fusion summon a fusion monster from your extra deck using monsters from hand or field, including an Art Magia monster. Then, if there's a card in the field zone, the summoned monster gains 500 attack. Okay, quick play fusion spell is massive because that means Guardian Chimera on the opponent's turn, which is one of the most fun ways when you one of the most fun things when you're playing fusion decks. I feel like is Guardian Chimera. I love Guardian Chimera. During your main phase, banish this card from your grave. Target 3 Art Magia cards in your grave with different names. Shuffle them into the deck. Okay, this is, I would say, compared to some other fusion spells, also quick play fusion spells, one of the weaker ones, right? Like this is just, this is a much weaker version of something like Chimera Fusion. Because Chimera Fusion's secondary effect is way stronger, right? Or even Memento Fusion is way stronger. So it's like a definitely a balanced card here. It's still good. Just in general, quick play fusion spells are just good cards, I think. But it's not a bad card. Art Magia Vandalism Assault. Continuous spell card. Okay, another continuous card with an archetype's name in it to special summon the others. That's good. You can only activate one card with this card's name per turn. Only use the second effect once per turn. When this card resolves, you can add a Medius the Innocent from your deck to your hand. You can target one face-up monster you control. That face-up monster can be treated as an Art Magia monster if used as fusion material this turn. If Art Magia, the academic city of divine arts you control, would be destroyed by card effect, you can send this card you control to the graveyard instead. Okay, that's a very good card. That's a very, very good card. Consistency card with small bonus as well. Very nice. Art Magia Banish Change. Normal spell card. You can only use the first and second effect of this card's name each once per turn. Place one Art Magia, the academic city of divine arts, from your deck or graveyard face up in your field zone, or if you control it, you can add an Art Magia card from your deck to your hand instead, except Art Magia Banish Change. When your Art Magia monster is targeted for an attack, you can banish this card from your grave and negate that attack, then you can special summon a Medius from your hand. They are just getting very high quality spell cards here, I would say, overall. Like a very high consistency out of these spell cards. Let's read the trap card before like combining it all. Art Magia Messena Awakening, normal trap card. You can only use the first and you can only use one of the first and second effect per turn, and only once that turn. Special summon an Art Magia monster or Medius from your deck. Also, this turn, the activation of your cards and effects that include an effect that fusion summon cannot be negated. Also, your opponent cannot activate cards or effects when a monster is fusion summoned this way. Granted, lost, but in like a trap card form, which is much weaker. Okay. You can banish this card from your grave, then target an Art Magia monster you control, return it to the hand or extra deck, and if you do, destroy a card your opponent controls. It has a good graveyard effect. And because of this, you might end up playing this because it's a good discard for the field spell, because the field spell does have to discard spell traps. And this is the only spell trap with a really good graveyard effect. Right? This one is just recycling. This one does nothing in the graveyard. This is just an attack negation, which isn't great. This has the best graveyard effect, so you might want to play that. You might want to play that with the thing in mind that your field spell wants to discard spell traps. Overall, I would say it's a promising start. Right? There's some very, very high quality cards here. I don't exactly see where, like, which direction this deck is going. I'm a little... The only card here that I don't love is this one because it is straight up just an Omni Negate. But, like, besides that, it's pretty fine. I will point out that, like, the lore archetypes typically start this way, right? Like, they typically start with good cards, but nothing crazy yet. And then you add one or two crazy cards to the mix, and it could all go like downhill really fast. Like, for example, you take Diabellstar as an example. With the first couple of sets, I don't know exactly how many sets it was, but like we got Wanted, we got Diabellstar, we had original Sinful Spoils. It was already a pretty splashable engine. And like the Snake Eye cards without Poplar, they weren't that good yet. But then Poplar came around, right? And then it all exploded, right? Like sometimes all it takes is like one card that is not well designed, that is like broken, and it all like it goes crazy. And that's kind of scary here because unlike branded, this deck, there's no locks here. Don't let this fool you into thinking there's any relevant locks in this archetype. This thing locks you into fusions while it's on the field, but it's the monster that performs a fusion summon. So this does not count. This is not a lock. You're never going to be locked because of this card, right? You're going to make a fusion with it, and then you're free. And if your opponent negates it, then the lock is also gone. So like, not going to happen. The only thing that this is terrible into is, let's say your opponent has like D-barrier, right? Like if you summon this and you activate its effect to fusion summon, and your opponent goes D-barrier, can't summon fusions, then you're cooked. But other than that, there's no real lock. As well as the Dominus Impulse too. But Dominus Impulse, you could still perform other fusions with other cards, right? Like if you Dominus Impulse it, it stays there. You're locked into fusions, but you might have another fusion spell, and then you can fuse it off, and then you're good. But yes, Dominus Impulse could be good sometimes. The lock on this card is, in my opinion, also very irrelevant, right? Like, you cannot special summon from outside the extra deck for the rest of this turn except Art Magia monsters, and Medius is like literally a lock that you may as well not have printed on the card. It only really means that the field spell is not splashable, right? Like, you can't play it in other decks. You can't mix it super well with, like, the Fiendsmith, for example. You know, I made that joke about turning something into a light fiend, but, like, if you use the field spell, then you can't do Fiendsmith stuff because you would be summoning Engraver from your deck and stuff like that. So, like, sometimes this lock matters, but in the grand scheme of things of Yu-Gi-Oh!, the lock that matters the most is the extra deck. And this deck is very, very free in terms of what it can do from the extra deck, right? If they give this deck a tuner, it has a lot of different levels available. It can just spam whatever synchro it wants. If this deck gets more, like, link material, just more cards that put themselves onto the field, they can make any link monsters they want, essentially, right? So, like, that's still dangerous in terms of the potential, but that is also something that we don't know. They might not give this deck those kind of cards, and then it's completely fine, right? Because so far, it looks like a fusion archetype. If it stays a fusion archetype, then fine. But I just hope they learn from Diabellstar. I feel like Diabellstar, as a, like, from the competitive scene, was received fairly poorly, even though everyone was like, yeah, the artwork and the lore behind Snake Eyes and Diabellstar is really cool, but the execution in terms of competitive balancing was way off. So I'm hoping that this one is just toned down a little bit, which so far it could be. You know, they're good cards, but they're not that level yet. So remains to be seen how good they make them with, of course, the experience of previous years. It is to be expected that they will at the very least be meta relevant. Like, almost any lore deck of the past years has been meta relevant, with the only exception maybe being like Goblin Bikers. You know, that was like the quote unquote the worst part of the Diabellstar lore, but like Snake Eyes, White Forest, Azamina, all very meta relevant stuff. Monadium, Tearlament was also very, very strong. I guess Springans was also not that good overall. There's always like parts of the lore that aren't, but there's always, for every lore archetype, there was really, really relevant stuff. Goblin just won the YCS. Yeah, keep telling yourself that. Keep telling yourself the Goblins did the major work, and it wasn't like the Memento cards, surely. It counts. I mean, it definitely wasn't a Goblin Biker deck. There was a Goblin Biker engine in it, but it was definitely more of a Memento deck. And I never said the Goblin Bikers were bad cards. It's just like, compared to the other stuff in the lores, they definitely are not up there.